What did you get up to yesterday?
I went to see Les Miserables with my girlfriend at the theater.
That show has been running for almost 30 years now. What's it about?
In short, love and forgiveness.
I see.
It shows how the kind act of one person can have a major effect on others.
A bit like Christianity then.
Exactly.
And what is your girlfriend up to tonight?
The art gallery by us has a new Christian exhibition and she's at the opening filming with her crew.
Sounds interesting.
Good afternoon, it's 6:46 p.m. Monday 15th January. I'm Jenna Hart and I'm reporting from the Walsingham Gallery. Behind me you will see a number of amazing artwork that forms part of the Church and Kingdom exhibition. This painting here is called the Lord's Prayer and depicts Jesus showing his disciples how to pray. This prayer is taken from the book of Matthew chapter 6 verse 9 to 13. There was a call by the Catholic community to name this particular piece of work the Our Father, but the artists settled with the Lord's Prayer instead. Over here we have a painting of the head of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio in 1936, he later changed his name to Francis when he was elected Pope on 13th of March 2013. This painting is called Justice, Peace and Reconciliation to pay homage to his commitment in these areas. Over here, we have a magnificent sculpture of the Virgin Mary called the Magnificat.
What does my soul magnifies the Lord mean?
Mary is praising God for choosing her to be the mother of Jesus.
First she speaks about herself, then she speaks about Israel? Why does she do that?
Because Mary relates to the people of Israel. She calls them servants because they are meant to serve God, that is what their ancestor, Abraham, promised to do in his covenant with God.
I see. Is Mary boasting?
No, far from it, she is very humble. You see here she refers to herself as a lowly servant.
Was Mary poor?
She came from humble beginnings and can relate to the poor and oppressed of her time.
God doesn't like powerful people, does he?
It's not that he doesn't like powerful people, but he wants everyone to be treated fairly. The rich and powerful shouldn't take advantage of the poor and humble. And that can only happen if there is peace, justice, and people admit when they've done wrong.
So it's wrong to join violent protests against government?
Absolutely.
This painting here is called The Rock. It was here at Caesarea Philippi that Jesus asked his disciples who people thought he was. Peter recognized and proclaimed that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of the living God. Peter was one of the 12 apostles, who Jesus commissioned to preach the gospel far and wide. Jesus changed his name from Simon to Peter, meaning rock. Jesus said it was on this rock that he would build his first church. The Catholic Church understands this to mean that Peter was the first pope. You can read more about this in the publication that is now available to the public. Let us go to the drawing room where I'll be joined some visitors, a priest, a monk, a religious brother and a married couple.
Let's see what this publication has to say about Peter's relationship to the Pope. Oh dear. A system based on hierarchy, that's sure to be bad, isn't it?
Continue reading.
You're doing a great job. Make sure you capture it all.
What's this?
These are the stations of the cross. There are 14 in total. It reminds us of Jesus' painful journey towards his death. During Lent we walk between the stations and say a prayer at each stop.
Like a dramatized prayer?
Yes, you can say that. My everyday prayer is often stationary and standard, but here, I can really experience my faith in a different way. Before we start, we are given a short reading. Once we reach a stop, we reflect on it, say a prayer, and move on. It's as though I'm making the journey with Jesus. It means a lot to me, as it's not just a standard prayer I say all the time like the Lord's Prayer, but a physical and emotional one.
There's no time to lose focus then.
Not a chance. Thank you for joining me. With me, we have the Reverend Michael Valmore from St. Jude's Catholic Church.
Thank you for inviting me.
Michael, what are your thoughts on the collection so far?
I think it's rather exquisite. It really highlights the essence of what we mean by kingdom values.
And can you tell me a bit about what led you to the priesthood?
I'm a servant of God. I had a calling from God to the priesthood. I took a vow of chastity and obedience. Obedience to the bishop, who is also obedient to the voice of God. I love the members of my community and am available to them at all times.
Have you ever been to a council meeting at the Vatican?
No, but my bishop attended once and shared the concerns of my diocese with all who were there, bishops, priests, monks. There was an abhorrent intolerance towards refugees, and it was tearing the community apart.
You can choose not to answer, but is there a pope that resonates with you?
I was ordained as a priest the same year that Pope John died, so I've always wondered how things might have been. But I'm comforted knowing that whoever is elected pope, they are guided by the Holy Spirit, so it doesn't really matter who it is. I was sat on a park bench reading the newspaper. The Pope is dead, the headlines read.
This was in 1963, I believe. Thank you for sharing your experience with us, Father Valmore. We also have with us Sister Grace, a nun from St. Benedict's Monastery.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be invited to such a wonderful exhibition. I'm not actually a sister, I'm a nun. The difference is that I'm based in a monastery. Like Father Valmore, I too received a calling from God to a life of service to Him. I took a vow of chastity, obedience and poverty. I live a simple and humble life like Jesus did.
Do you not feel cut off from the world?
Well, no, my life is centered around prayer and meditation. People can come to the monastery anytime and feel a sense of peace and calm when they arrive. When I say a prayer like the Lord's Prayer, I'm really able to meditate on its meaning. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
And Sister Valerie, I hope I got that right. You actually are a sister. Please share your story with us.
Thank you for having me. I am a sister. I currently live in the Philippines working with a small farming community. I have a background in medicine, so I help train the locals. Kingdom values to me means action and service. I came from quite a privileged background and felt no loss, taking the vow of poverty. I feel rich in spirit.
And Jill and Kevin, you have a different kind of vocation, don't you?
Yes, Jill and I have been married for 25 years now. We were called to a life of service to each other. We were dancing partners, and I knew from the very moment we danced together, she would be my life partner. We married 6 months later and have a beautiful blessed family.
We take the sacrament of marriage very seriously. All of us sat here today took vows before God, committed to living out kingdom values. Marriage is not easy, but we always make sure we reconcile our differences and have peace in our home. In the past, whenever there was tension between us, it showed in our dance. As soon as we forgave one another, we danced perfectly in harmony. There was a lot of hostility from the people in our community when we first got together because of our different backgrounds, but the church was very supportive and treated us with dignity and respect.
Once again, I'd like to thank my amazing guests for joining me here today. I'm Jenna Hart. Until the next time, goodbye.
Great job, Jenna. Fancy watching a movie tonight? The mission is on.
Just relax your arm whilst I take your blood pressure reading. Can you extend your elbow just a little bit for me? Perfect.
What does it say?
100.
Is that good?
Considering where you were the last time you came in, I'd say it's a miracle.
So much has happened since then. I went on a pilgrimage to Lord. I'd heard so much about it and was in desperate need of healing. I brought back that Virgin Mary bottle on the table over there and that rosary on the bed. I say one Our Father prayer, 10 Hail Marys and 1 Glory be to the Father 3 times a day.
I've always wanted to go on a pilgrimage and was thinking of visiting Jerusalem or Rome. I grew up in Walsingham and experienced the pilgrimage every year. I can remember the sound of hymns being sung and the great atmosphere as the pilgrims followed in the procession. They would start at the Slipper Chapel and end at the Abbey. How was Lourdes?
Words can describe. I bathed in the waters of the spring and immediately felt a change. It was fascinating to see so many people gathered together as one body.
Well, you look very, very well. Maybe I can persuade my husband to join me on a pilgrimage.
So how was your evening?
It was pleasant. We watched the mission last night.
Is it worth the watch?
Definitely, it's about the power of faith and forgiveness.
Is it about the missionaries that tried to convert the natives in South America?
That's the one.
My wife is thinking about going on a pilgrimage.
A pilgrimage, where to?
Jerusalem or Rome. I have a job interview tomorrow.
Oh really? You're leaving St. Vincent's? Where are you going?
Cathod.
Okay. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Please tell us why you would like to work here at Cathod.
I've worked at St. Vincent's Charity now for over 25 years, locally. I am keen to work nationally and globally. Cathod is a much bigger charity than St. Vincent's, and I feel a calling to work on a much bigger scale.
But St. Vincent's is also an international charity, with membership worldwide.
Yes, that's correct, but Cathod offers something different to St. Vincent's.
Please tell us a bit about what you do at St. Vincent's.
I've pretty much done it all. I've visited people in care homes, hospitals and prisons to offer support, friendship and advice. I've offered practical help to people suffering with addiction, the old and isolated people. I would help them with their finances and odd chores here and there. I now organize community projects.
Which department would you be interested in working in?
Policy. I'm interested in challenging national policies and laws that damage the lives of disadvantaged people, those living in poverty.
What do kingdom values mean to you?
I think kingdom values are what Jesus spoke upon when he delivered the Sermon on the Mount, qualities such as humility, love, service and much more.
What does our adopted motto, "Give a man a fish," mean to you?
In one word, self-reliance. I know that I prefer to be given the tools to do things for myself, so when offering charity to others, it is best to apply the same philosophy, that is to treat your neighbor as yourself. Sorry I'm late, the interview at Cathod overrun.
That's okay, we have plenty of time. I'm going to buy a magazine, so I'll meet you at gate 5. I'm so happy you decided to join me on this spiritual journey to such a sacred place. It wasn't an easy decision, deciding where to go, but I feel we made the right choice.
Speaking of choice, help me with this question. We automatically get entered into a competition, and if we win, we get free admittance into one of the holy sites. So, what are the 4 marks of the Church?
Oh, that's easy. It's 1, Holy, Catholic, and Apostolic. Jerusalem. This place is breathtaking, so this is Via Dolorosa. Imagine Jesus passed by this street carrying his cross. I can't believe I'm here. It makes me think how life is like pilgrimage, a journey towards God. Where shall we go to next?